Satan, often referred to as the adversary or enemy, has a vested interest in keeping humanity in a state of poverty and financial struggle. This notion may seem far-fetched, but it's rooted in biblical principles and supported by real-world observations. The Bible teaches that Satan's primary goal is to steal, kill, and destroy, John 10:10, and one of the most effective ways to accomplish this is by keeping people in a state of financial bondage. When individuals are struggling to make ends meet, they are more likely to be stressed, anxious, and depressed. This emotional turmoil can lead to a weakened immune system, strained relationships, and a decreased ability to fulfill their purpose and potential. As a result, Satan can effectively neutralize a person's impact and influence, rendering them ineffective in their pursuit of God's plan for their life. Moreover, poverty and financial struggle can lead to a sense of hopelessness and desperation, causing people to turn to ungodly sources for relief. This can include things like get-rich-quick schemes, gambling, or even involvement in illicit activities. Satan can use these circumstances to tempt people into sinful behaviors, further entrapping them in a cycle of poverty and destruction. On the other hand, financial freedom and prosperity can have a profoundly positive impact on a person's life. When individuals have the resources they need, they are more likely to be generous, gracious, and fulfilled. They are able to pursue their passions, support their families, and give back to their communities. This, in turn, can bring joy, peace, and contentment, which are all antithetical to Satan's goals. So, how can we fight against Satan's desire to keep us poor? Firstly, it's essential to understand that financial freedom is not just about accumulating wealth, it's about being a good steward of the resources God has given us. This means living below our means, saving and investing wisely, and giving generously to support God's work. By being responsible with our finances, we can break free from the cycle of debt and poverty that Satan seeks to entrap us in. Secondly, we need to shift our mindset and focus on the biblical principles of prosperity. The Bible teaches that God wants us to prosper, not just spiritually, but also financially, 3 John 1:2. By meditating on scriptures like Psalm 37:3-4, which says, "Trust in the Lord, and do good. Dwell in the land, and feed on his faithfulness. Delight yourself also in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of your heart." We can cultivate a mindset of faith and trust, knowing that God is our provider and supplier. Thirdly, we need to be intentional about building multiple streams of income and diversifying our financial portfolio. This can include things like starting a side business, investing in real estate, or pursuing alternative sources of income. By having multiple streams of income, we can reduce our financial risk and increase our potential for prosperity. Finally, we need to stay connected to a community of like-minded believers who can support and encourage us on our journey to financial freedom. This can include joining a local church, participating in a Bible study group, or connecting with a financial mentor or coach. By surrounding ourselves with people who share our values and goals, we can stay motivated and accountable, even when faced with challenges and setbacks. In conclusion, Satan wants us to stay poor because it keeps us in a state of bondage and limits our ability to fulfill our purpose and potential. However, by understanding God's principles of prosperity, being intentional about our finances, and staying connected to a supportive community, we can fight against Satan's desires and achieve financial freedom. Remember, financial freedom is not just about accumulating wealth, it's about being a good steward of the resources God has given us so that we can live a life of purpose, passion, and prosperity.